Now, we're tackling a tough topic that will have affected many of you, and that is the death of a pet. You might have been watching Coronation Street when Evelyn, played by Maureen Lipman, had to say goodbye to her beloved dog, Cerberus. Oh, I can't bear it.
Oh, God, you're actually going to cry. It's not even your dog.
I know.
It's acting.
I know, but you know, I'm a massive Corrie fan. Oh, God.
That's because you're thinking Maggie.
Yes. So I was watching it, and actually Maureen Lipman has written today saying that, you know, the makeup people at Corrie said to her, do you need a tear stick to help you cry for this scene? And she was like, absolutely not, because sadly she had to have her own dog put down. I can't see through the tears here. Watch, Diva. She also had to have her put down, so it brought it all back of having to make that awful decision. And the reason, so my little Maggie is probably about 13. Oh, God. Anyway. Look at her there, but she's a bit grey.
Yeah. Let's talk about someone else.
I can't believe I've just done that.
I feel a bit bad talking about mine and not crying.
I know.
Listen, for anyone that hasn't got animals or dogs and they don't get it,
no,
because they become part of your family, and they're the one part of your family that don't care what you look like, what you smell like, who you are.
I didn't get it before I had Maggie,
They just love you unconditionally, and they're the most fantastic thing in your life. However, people forget that, you know, if a dog lives 12 and above, that's really good life for a dog. So my issue with dogs in the past, like my two little spaniels, Rio and Jessie, you know, they got to like 13 and 14, they started to get really ill. And so, that's Rio. Oh. And then they started to not have quality life. So for me then, as Jessie, it's time for them. So I'm always very much saying to the vet, don't let me continue to keep this dog for me. Let me know when it's right. And don't get me wrong, I've sobbed over them when I had them put down. I think it's horrible when your pet's young and something happens, but it's just
But that's the thing, isn't it, is that you know that, hopefully, you know, if in the grand scheme of things, you know that that pet is going to go before you, and that's a heartbreaking thing. So I think that's why that storyline, looking at Maggie, who's a bit grey now, and she's 13-ish because she's a rescue dog. And so watching that was like, oh, no, that is going to happen.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, I don't like to think even me.
I just don't know what's happened. I don't want to be anywhere in the vicinity when that happens.
No.
Months off work.
I know.
Ruth, you remember nasty, hard-bitten Janet?
I know.
And then look what's happened with Badger.
This is the bit with Janet, right? There's something every day, and I actually said it to Colleen just before we went live. There is not a day when I come into Loose and Janet's on that you don't say something that surprises me. Yeah. There's just so much to, like, unravel about Janet. and today, when we were all talking about the dogs, obviously I know you love Badger, but this is just to prove that there's people that you would never expect that would go soppy over a dog or over an animal, and if someone like Janet is like it, it's just when she talks about him, her face lights up, she does those silly dog voices.
Yeah, I've got two voices. The coaxing voice to get him to do what I want, to eat his dinner.
Which is?
Badger, lovely dinner. It's lovely, it's carrots, potatoes, cabbage I cooked myself. Yeah, there's that voice. And then there's the voice when I'm out and he wants to do a poo right in the middle of the road. Come here!
Didn't you say he sings? He sings to
me. I'm trying to do a video to show on the show because I've got him beyond just singing and howling. I've got him holding our whole conversations. It's great having a chat with a dog.
This is what I mean. Who knew that Janet would be teaching a dog to sing?
He'll be playing the violin soon and singing and playing the violin.
There's no chance of him playing the violin. But the other day, he's 9 years old now, and you just think, oh, is he walking slower? You start looking at him and thinking, oh...
Well, my little three-legged Yorkie, Mika, she's just in remission from cancer. But the chemo doesn't cure dogs, it just gives them just gives them a longer time. She's bouncing around and she's fine, but I know it's coming.
How old is she?
She's 9, but it's the cancer, you know. She probably
And you've
won't last.
got 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And I have to say, with children, I think it's a very difficult experience, but also I think it's part of life.
Yeah, I think
life
it's really
lesson,
important.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That it's maybe their first experience of
It's going to
death.
be really difficult because, I think, you know, my kids are kind of at that age where they are starting to ask about death and things like that. So I think with the dogs look at them, in a, you know, in a horrible way, I do dread that situation of when they have to go, but also I do think it is a good lesson for them, and hopefully for them that would be their first experience of grief or of loss. But they just bring so much, you know. If mine are ever, because Wayne's mum and dad live with us, if they ever go off to them and I'm in the house, it's so quiet. I've had times when they've not been there and I'm so used to them being around that I think I see them out the corner of my eye, or I think I can hear them tip-tapping on the floor. And I think the amazing thing with dogs, and especially I think when you've got to put one down, is they give so much to us, don't they? And they provide so much for you and your family. And they don't really ask for anything back.
Unconditional.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they can't speak is almost what makes them so amazing,
That's
but
why
also
Janet
makes
likes
everything
them,
so much
don't you?
harder. Yeah. That's why Janet loves them.
Back. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to give you a hug while you do this.
Don't.
last
No,
week.
make your star again.
I can't bear it for you.
Don't. Don't, 'cause you'll make me worse.